Surprising celebrities who don't believe in a higher power. Some of these celebs traded their faith for fame, and others never believed at all. You may be surprised to know which celebrities are atheists or agnostics. Julianne Moore. Rather than God dictating people's paths, Moore believes that we do, saying, the idea that you're the center of your own narrative and that you can create your life is a great idea. Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner definitely didn't thank God for all the beautiful women in his life. The Playboy founder regarded religion as a myth and an attempt to explain the unexplainable. Kathy Griffin. In her Emmy acceptance speech, Griffin said, "A lot of people come up here, and they thank Jesus for this award. I want you to know that no one had less to do with this award than Jesus." Ian McKellen. In an interview, Ian McKellen said, "I don't understand religion. I don't get it at all. I understand why people need it, but I think they're wrong." Billy Joel. Musician Billy Joel had strong words about his lack of belief in God. During a Howard Stern interview, Joel remarked that he was an atheist who would rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon has said in the Times of London, "I don't believe in God." But before he became an atheist, he was raised as a Catholic. Larry King. Journalist Larry King was not one to shy away from tough issues, and that included the issue of religion. He argued that religion stems from a fear of death and that if death didn't exist, neither would religion. Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie has never called herself an atheist, but when it comes to God, she's skeptical to say the least. "There doesn't need to be a God for me," Jolie once remarked in an interview. Amber Heard. Heard was raised in the Catholic Church, but she lost her faith at the age of 16. After a friend's death in a car accident, the actress realized that tomorrow wasn't promised and that she had no one looking out for her except herself. Diane Keaton. When it comes to God, actress Diane Keaton has been all over the place in terms of belief. In her earlier years, she publicly called herself agnostic, but in the 2000s, she said she was a Christian who was once an atheist. Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman technically had a religious upbringing, but she doesn't seem to identify with it too much. Unlike many Americans, Thurman was actually raised with Buddhism in the home, but it didn't seem to stick. Richard Branson. Branson has acknowledged that religion can be a force for good in people's lives, and he's even gone as far as to say, "I would love to believe. It's very comforting to believe." George Carlin. There were plenty of jokes in his act about the folly of believing in God, but Carlin was also capable of doing more than just joking around about the subject. He also shared his difficulties and desire for believing. Natalie Portman. Despite having a Jewish background, Portman said in a 2011 Rolling Stone interview when asked about the afterlife, "I don't believe in that. I believe this is it, and I believe it's the best way to live." Brad Pitt. Though Brad Pitt was raised Southern Baptist, in an interview with the German newspaper Bild, Pitt responded to the question, "Do you believe in God?" by answering, "No, no, no." Bill Gates. While Bill Gates may be sympathetic to the positive benefits of religion, he's made it clear that he doesn't actually believe in God or need him to be good. Sean Penn. While his father was a non-practicing Jew, his mother was actually Catholic. However, Penn describes his home life as secular. In interviews, Penn has made it clear that he's open to the idea of God but not fully convinced. Katharine Hepburn. In an interview with Ladies' Home Journal, Hepburn proclaimed, "I'm an atheist, and that's it." She also said, "I believe there's nothing we can know except that we should be kind to each other and do what we can for each other." Frank Sinatra. Where should people find comfort, according to Sinatra? To him, it doesn't matter. Sinatra said to Playboy, "I'm for anything that gets you through the night, be it prayer, tranquilizers, or a bottle of Jack Daniels." Helen Mirren. The famously frank British actor said, "I describe myself as a Christian who doesn't believe in God. I can't help being Christian because I was brought up in Britain and the morality of Christianity is part of the fabric of this country. But I don't believe in God." Morgan Freeman. The actor is famous for playing the role of God on a number of occasions, but the man himself takes a more non-traditional outlook and would classify himself as spiritual. He even has a miniseries, The Story of God, on the National Geographic Channel. Rafael Nadal. There's no shortage of interviews and quotations from the tennis pro waxing on about faith, but, despite all his words, his actual position is pretty simple. He doesn't believe in God. Emma Thompson. Thompson is adamantly non-religious. One reason she opposes religion is that many religions oppress women and is well aware of the long history of it. Antonio Banderas. The iconic actor has made no attempt to hide the fact that he's agnostic when it comes to the question of God. He may not be willing to say that God doesn't exist, but he's not saying he does either. Keira Knightley. Keira is not on the fence about anything and actually seems to look at religion with some contempt. However, Knightley has supported a number of humanitarian efforts, including the Amnesty International campaign, Women's Aid, and raising awareness for the global refugee crisis. Janine Garofalo. Garofalo made jokes about being a non-believer, like during a David Letterman appearance when she sarcastically quipped that a higher power was responsible for all the terrible reruns she was watching. Jodie Foster. Foster said she was an atheist and that she hadn't found her own proof that would make her believe in God. But while she doesn't quite believe in God, she does like to partake in religious rituals and observes holidays. Zac Efron. In a 2007 interview, Efron noted that he was raised agnostic and that his family never practiced religion. He is, however, of Jewish ancestry, but his family never exposed him to it, and therefore, he doesn't really have any ties to it. John Lennon. It's not a stretch to assume that the musician who wrote the lyrics, "Imagine No Religion," doesn't believe in God. While all the Beatles may have dabbled in spirituality during their lives, Lennon could never make the leap to being a card-carrying religious man. Javier Bardem. Although Bardem was raised a Catholic, he no longer holds those beliefs as an adult, but that doesn't mean he believes in nothing. He does not believe strongly in the supernatural per se, but he does believe there may be more beyond the physical world. Find more at alot.com.